Thank you for inviting the school board candidates. I do also think it's a very important thing that the public be informed about whom they're going to vote for. The primary is very important because we cross-file and we can either win or lose on either side. So the primary is a very important thing. So make sure all of you come out and vote. I have been a Doylestown Borough resident for 50 years. This year is 50 years that we've lived in Doylestown. I've spent those 50 years in community service. I've spent 28 years on the Central Bucks School Board. I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. The first job that I had coming onto the board was to close a school, close an elementary school because of declining enrollment. That was not fun. We've had some good years in between where things were prospering. We were growing 900 students a year. That is no longer happening. People are not moving in anymore. We're actually losing enrollment to the tune of about 500 students so far this year at the elementary level. So people are not moving in, and the bubble that we had as far as the numbers of people moving in with kids, those kids are now going into middle school and high school. So our elementary schools are seeing some relief in the numbers of kids. So that is also why you're seeing some of the teachers being laid off, not only by attrition, but also by seniority. The last in, first out, you probably heard of. My kids went through Central Bucks. My grandchildren are now in Central Bucks, which is a wonderful thing, the same three schools that my kids went to. I am a registered Republican. I have never missed an election as long as I can remember since I was old enough to vote. That's primaries and regular elections. I've also counted up that since I've been on the school board, I have been to 603 public meetings. Those are just the public meetings. I've missed 2 in those 28 years, and that's because of vacations. We are at a crossroads in education, and we are having financial troubles, as is almost every other school district in not only the state of Pennsylvania, but across the country. We have to, it's making us really rethink how we do things. We have to become more of a business. We have to really pull the reins in. And we're boxed in at this point right now because we're only allowed to raise taxes 1.4% because of Act 1. And yet the state has taken away at least $8 million in funding. $2 million of that has been in transportation. That's why you're seeing us really angsting about laying off bus drivers at this point. I think we will eventually see no transportation. I think parents are going to end up having to drive their kids to school eventually because we just can't afford transportation, and it is not a mandated service. So what we're trying to do right now is to what I call work the fringes. If you look at a concentric circle and protect the core, which is protecting the education, we are number 4 in the state with our test scores, and we have the lowest cost per pupil. And we are the 3rd largest school district after Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. So we are trying to do whatever we can to try to make up that $8 million that we've lost. We've lost $4 million in assessments being lowered. And like I said, the state has taken away about $8 million in funding. So we have to be creative. We have to run things like a business. All of our time is being used now looking at the budget, looking at where we can cut. It's painful, but it's necessary. We also could use some help from Harrisburg in giving us some relief from the mandates for letting us be able to lay teachers off for non-economic reasons and for economic reasons. They already let us do it for non-economic. We're expecting them to give us relief so that we're able to lay teachers off for economic reasons, which it just makes no sense as to why we can't lay teachers off for economic reasons. So Harrisburg has promised us that they are going to give us some relief from mandates, construction costs. We have to pay prevailing wage, and they're going to give us some relief from some of those mandates. So hopefully we'll get help from Harrisburg. This year we should be all right, but if the economy continues to tank, we're going to have continued problems. And you will eventually see referendum, which, you know, will be very interesting to see if people in this economy will vote for the school budgets. So thank you. I can't take questions, and I got the... Anybody have a question? I'll just take one. So anybody has any?
603 meeting?
Actually, I have a question.
Okay.
I live in Doyle.
Yes.
As far as the different mandates, what have you heard, besides the furlough bill, do you think that we would get anywhere with prevailing wage?
That's one of the things that they're going to be working on. We've been promised 3 or 4 things that are going to give us some relief from the mandates so that we're able to have a little more flexibility in what we can do.
I guess as a school board member, what are the top mandate relief that you would list as far as making it easier to live within the budget that you know, without raising taxes? What would be your top 3, let's say?
Well, I think the first one is really being able to lay off teachers for economic reasons. I also like the last in, I'd like to see abolished the last in, first out, and see teachers laid off on a merit system as opposed to seniority. You know, there are a lot of things. The prevailing wage has cost us a lot of money. Our debt service is very high because we've had to construct schools under the prevailing wage. So, you know, the state is notoriously a very union-oriented state. So hopefully now that we have a Republican Congress in Harrisburg and a Republican governor, that they will help us out with some of these mandates.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.